Namaste, good evening, everybody. I hope you had a great Sunday. Welcome all to this program, the Continuous Integrative Education Series, been going on for more than 6 months. I welcome to a very important program and a very different one that you may have been waiting, and some may have not expected this. And because now it is part of the Ayush system announced by the Honorable Prime Minister, the Tibetan medicine. We are joined by Dr. Dorjee uh, from Tibet now in Dharamshala. I'm going to introduce him to you, and then we will let him speak, and we'll invite him to speak on Tibetan medicine for healthy body and healthy mind. Dr. Dorjee was a graduate from Men Si Khang, which is the Tibetan Medical and Astro Institute of Dharamshala College in the year 2013, with distinction in all the subjects, and received Kha Chu Pa degree equivalent to BTMS in traditional Tibetan medicine. It's also called Sowa Rikpa. He is also a certified doctor to practice acupuncture in basic and clinical practice. Dr. Dorjee has worked as a residential doctor in Bangalore branch clinic, and in the meantime, he was involved in conducting research on certain diseases under clinical research department. For the first 5 years, he is able to treat patients with different health problems like cancers, diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, psychosomatic disorders, and neurological disorders, and other related disorders. And he has profound knowledge in traditional Tibetan medicine, which is Sowa Rigpa, as well as practical experience on treating the patients. And he's a special guest today, and at the recommendation of His Holiness's office, Satan, he was referred to his director, who um, referred us to Dr. Dorjee. And we are really delighted to have you with us. And Dr. Dorjee was born in Tibet. We were having informal discussions how he in 97 crossed over to India and has been here, separated from his parents and practicing medicine. And now he's joined from his uh, COVID related facility where he's treating patients in Dharamshala. Dr. Dorjee, we are really excited to have you. We have a proud privilege of welcoming you to this program, and we look forward to hearing from you. Over to you.
Or Namaste Dashi Delek, and thank you, Professor Dr. Akshanan, for inviting or giving me this opportunity to talk about a little bit about Tibetan medicine and for a healthy body and healthy mind. So before going to my slide, I'll just have a homage to Medicine Buddha. With the compassion yourselves, all sentient being, O victorious conqueror, mere hearing of your name relieves the suffering of all lower realms, healer of the melody of the three environmental poisons, the enlightened supreme healer, the Medicine Buddha, king of ephemeral light, I prostrate before you. So before going through my slide, I just summarize my topic in the 4 part: the history, number one, history. What is about Tibetan medicine, the history of Tibetan. So I make this very short and precise because I have only for 15 minutes time is there. Then introduction, we will going to talk about gist or summary of the Tibetan medicine. It includes an introduction part. Then third one is health. What is health and the meaning of health? Health, definition of health according to Tibetan medicine. So we're going to talk about a little bit about there. Then after that, causes and conditions of the disease. And after knowing the health, then you must have to have some kind of knowledge what is the causes and conditions of the disease. So we will be going to these four, symbol subjects, and after that, then we have some kind of questions and answers also. So Tibetan medicine is normally, literally, we call the Sowa Rigpa. Sowa Rigpa means a science of healing, and Tibetan medicine has roots in the ancient indigenous culture of Tibet. It is the art and science of keeping your primary energies in balance with your constitutions in order to promote your health and happiness. And Tibetan medicine in earlier time, pre-Buddhist, area, it's called the Bon era. We have oral system where we say the boiling water is good for your indigestion, applications of hot, melted butter for blood clotting, Chang rescue for swelling and inflammation. Chang is a Tibetan beer which is made by barley. And then we also use the water stones and star water for fever and hot disease and hot spring and compression therapy, such like that. Then I also have noted here some important, deaths, which is very important according to Tibetan medicine. So I will be going to explain you a short and very precise about these things. Now, the first one is we have Tumba Shera Mewoche. Tumba Shera Mewoche was born in the time of Lord Buddha. I was born at the time of Lord Buddha, a legendary master and culture founder for Bon religion. And we believe that the first patient was his son, and the first disease was indigestion, and the hot water is the first medicine for that. Now, after that, we also come across a senior Yutok Yönden Gombo. Senior Yutok Yönden Gombo, we believe that he is the father of Tibetan medicine. Senior Yuto Yonde Gombo, he was a representative of Tibet at the first international conference on Tibetan medicine held at Samye Monastery, and wrote the first draft of Jushi. Jushi means for Tandara, is a fundamental text of learning the Tibetan medicine. Then he established the first monastic medical college, Tanadu, at Kongbo Melung in 765. Then we get the Juna Yuto Yunda Gombo. Juna Yuto Yunda Gombo rewrote the Jushi, the fourth Andhra, and he also synthesized the best theories and medical practices into the Jushi, the fundamental text of Tibetan medicine. Then we also come across this is Sangye Gyatso. This is Sangye Gyatso is the region of the fifth Dalai Lama. Wrote a commentary on Jushi titled Blueberry. Prepared 79 medical Thanga illustration explaining the two philosophy of Jushi based on Blueberry, and founded Chakburi Medical College in 1696 in Lhasa. He published the revised Four Tantras in 1692. In the early 90s, there's only two major medical schools in Lhasa, which were the Chakpuri Medical School and the Menzi Kang Tibetan Medical and Astral Institute. Menzi Kang first, this one in 1916, was established the 13th Dalai Lama in Lhasa in Tibet. Then, with his approval, Menzikan was established. And when we come to in India, in exile, in diaspora, the Menzikan in Dharamsala was established by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama in 1961. Now we have almost like more than 50 six or seven branch clinics all over the India and Nepal. So this is the very short, the history that I have precisely point out. Otherwise, there's lots of things that we can learn through the history of Tibetan medicine. So according to the time, I make this very precise and very short. So the next slide we will be coming through like introduction. Introduction is all about Tibetan medicine. What is Tibetan medicine? What are the things that you can know through the Tibetan medicine introduction? So Tibetan medicine is a holistic system of medicine. Tibetan medicine teaches that all beings are made of energy. We were born with a unique natural constitution consisting of three primary energies we call the Lung Tiba Pagan. It's similar to Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, they used to say what the Pitta, Kapha, or something like that. And those three primary energies, lung is more like a movement energy, energy of the movement. Tiva is a hot energy, Pagan is a cold energy. It also looks the relationship between the mind and body and how these are functioning in a balanced way to maintain a healthy body and healthy mind. So this is the holistic view of Tibetan medicine. Then you may also know that the principle of five elements in Tibetan medicine. According to Tibetan medicine, five element, your body is also made by five element, and your disease also aggravate through the imbalance of five element, and your medicines also coming through the balancing of the five elements. So here the five elements very crucial or very important thing is happening here. Five element is also the priority where the three energy principal energies are arising from these five elements. That's we come in the later part. Then we are talking the balance or health. So according to Tibetan medicine, balance means the health. In balancing means we have three excretions there. Then we have seven supporting of the body. Then 15 humors. If these things are balanced in your body, then we call the health or healthy person. If there are disbalance or inequilibrium, if they're in the state of inequilibrium, then we can call them imbalance. That means it's called a disease. Now, after completing all these things, then we need to fulfill two goals of Tibetan medicine. Two goals of Tibetan medicine is that is you have to cure the person who is ill. We can give the medicine or some therapies also to cure the persons also. And those for general things is also called the preventive. It is like maintaining health of a healthy person. To maintain how to stay a healthy person is more like a preventive measure. So this is the just introduction that I would like to put on here. So you may have a very clear picture of that. And then next slide, we will be going through the health. So what is health? According to Tibetan medicine, health is happiness. Is an ultimate happiness of mind and body. Mind and a body, it should be stayed in a state of balance or harmonies. When they are state where they are in the state of balance or harmonies, then we get the ultimate happiness. That happiness we call the health. Now we are talking about the mind. Mind is more related to the internal or emotional things, more like the emotional things. When your mind is disturbed by three poisons of the body, then we will get more related to the psychological disorders. Now, on the other hand, if we're talking about the body, it's more related to the external things, which is like more organic disease like this one. So in organ disease, more like it's more related to external things, but the mind and body should be uh, in a state of balance, which are similar to the two sides of one coin. If the mind is not working properly or it's disturbed by some other things, then it also causes some in a dis or imbalance things to the body. So we are talking about mind and body in a correlationship. That's we call the health. So health is totally related to happiness. That happiness should be it should be in a state of balance or harmonies of the mind and body. When these are balanced, then we get the happiness. That happiness is we call the health. That also should be a ultimate happiness. Now, goals and conditions. So we will be talking about little bit the goals and conditions of these things here. So mind, this is more this one, this slide is more related to the mind. Our mind is more related to emotional things. So here the cause is more related to ignorance. Ignorance, according to Tibetan medicine, is a misconception or misunderstanding of the nature of reality. So in particular about the impermanence and non-self doctrines of reality. It is the root cause of all suffering and pain and unsatisfactories also. Ignorance is something like not understanding that we are the creators of our own suffering. So ignorance is more later that. The five elements manifest themselves in human through the three dynamic principles like Lung Tiba Pagan. This is the will of life, will of well life. When you see that, you will see the symbols of a bird, you will see a symbol of a snake and a pig. From the bird, you will get desire. It will aggravate more desire and attachment. Desire and attachment is the only thing where we get the lung, which is similar to vata in Ayurveda. And hatred will bring you more tiba. Tiba means pitta. And then the delusion is more related to the activations of pagan. Pagan means kappa. So these are the three things where the ignorance will growing the desire, delusion, hatred. From desire, you will get long to balance that you need to practice more like generosity. It's more like a training of the mind, more like you have to practice more generosity towards other people. And then hatred to subside this one, hatred, you need to practice more loving and kindness. For the delusion, you need to acquire more wisdom for that also. From the Tibetan point of view, the cause of all this is the ignorance of the individual. It causes an illusion of separation of the human being from its environment. With the perception of I and mind, the central three mind poison, this we call the central three mind poison, desire, hatred, and delusion. Delusion, which is symbolized as a big bird and snake in the center wheel of life. They are the proximate cause of the imbalance of Lung, Tiba, and Pagan. Now, next, let we go for the improper lifestyle. According to Tibetan medicine, there are two factors which cause a disease in the body. This is more related to the physical disease. So you have to always keep in mind that these two factors which cause arising the disease in your body, that's we call the improper diet and improper lifestyle. Diet, normally we have different types of diet, but according to Tibetan medicine, it's very, very important to understand these 3 points. what kind of food that you need to take, how much quantity that you need to take, and when you need to take. So normally, when you are not knowing your nature, when you're not knowing your digestion system properly, so everybody need to take lots of food. They don't never care about what kind of food that they are taking. So according to Tibetan medicine, the food that you are taking should be not uncooked one, most probably, especially in the night time or evening time. You are not allowed to take or not recommendable take the uncooked food, raw items, especially in the evening time. And if you are especially more like a, pagan nature, then this will cause more trouble for the indigestion. So it's very, very important to what kind of food that you need to take. Then how to take, that's we come in the later part, how you take, how to take the food. According to Tibetan medicine, your digestion system should be divided into four part. That's two part you can put solid food, and one part you can put liquid food, and one part always kept as a empty, so which the food can be processed very easily. So this is the diagram where you can how to take your food in general way, which can help us to stay healthy, which can help us to prevent lots of disease also. Then, according to a great Nagarjuna once also quoted in the book of Letter to a Friend, food is like a medicine, consumed without attachment and hatred, neither for gaining weight nor for beautifying, not even for riddance, but solely for survive and sustain your body. So you have to eat to live, not live to eat. Even the Unwigmore also quoted that food you eat can be either the safest and the most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison also. So in Tibetan medicine, the food, the digestion system, the food, how to take it's talked very too much in the subject. It's also get four or five subjects there. Now we were going back to there. So when you take, the timing is also very important. When you take how your food, so especially in the nighttime, you are not allowed to take late dinner. In most of the people have that habit, bad habit to take the dinner in the late night around 11 or 12 p.m. like that. So you are not allowed to take at the late night. You can also use your dinner around the 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and the lunch around the 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Morning breakfast around the 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. like that. So these 3 points you always have to keep in mind. Then we will go for lifestyle. Lifestyle is also we call the behavior. Lifestyle also contains the seasonal changes also. I would like seasonal changes also. Even it also changes the activities in your day-to-day life, daily activities we can say. But here I just point out the 3 point, that's this we call the three doors of body, which is mind, body, speech. Mind never used like in an excess form. This like never used in an excess form is a deficit, adversity. If your mind is excessively used or deficitly used or adversely used, then again you will get another troubles also. Your body also not used in the excessive, deficit, and adversity. If you're using this one, then it will cause imbalance of the three principal energies, which also cause a disease also. Your speech should not be also excessive, deficit, and adversity. Once you are talking to, even for example, if I give you for example, like lung people, if they are talking too much, they will activate the lung energy, which also causing your insomnia, improper sleep, digestion weakness, digestion problems also, weaknesses also like that. So in a lifestyle, it's very, very important to keep those three doors of body in a balanced way. Now in here also written like that: air, fire, earth, and water. These are more like a four element. From the air, it's activating lung energy, which is also similar to vata. From the fire element, it's we activate Tiba, which also similar to Tiba energy. Tiba means it's a pitta. Earth and water component is we bring the pagan energy. So especially earth water is more related to the sweet. If you go to the sweet test, it's coming like a sweet test. So if you're consuming more like a sweet item, especially in the nighttime, then it's will causing more like a sugar problem, diabetic issues like that. So it's very, very important to keep in mind that what is the causes and the conditions of the disease. So this the frame is like a guideline. Just you have to know through these things. So I will not going to explain you too much because my time is very short. I have only 15 minutes, so I just give you a guideline or map about Tibetan medicine. Then we go to the next slide. Now, His Holiness also mentioned that I have bring one quote from His Holiness. It's very interesting, so I just put here. Man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health, and then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, then dies having never really lived. So this very what you say interesting the quote that you have to keep in mind. Now, in the conclusion, I will make it very brief, as I told you before. In the conclusion, we have written like that: the concepts of health and disease through Tibetan medicine is balance or disturbance of three bioenergies and the five elements. Tibetan medicine teaches us about self-care through knowing the real nature of you. Tibetan medicine sees everyone responsible and capable of maintaining a healthy life and at the same time in welcoming a host of disease. Everyone can use this art of identifying the personal nature and live a healthier and happy life. So I just make a very short note also here. So you have to know your timings. Timing is very important. What kind of food, when you take, how to take. Timing is very, very important. Know the quantity and the quality of your food, and especially if you have according to your digestion system, and know your digestive power. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Lung, Tiva, Pagan, they have a different types of digestion system. So you have to know about your digestion, about how much you can digest. According to that, you can also consume your food. Limit eatings. It's very, very important. In India, most people never limit the eating. So everything they saw in the street and they take that easily. So please keep in mind that. Be balanced. It's very, very important to balance your mind emotional status, and it's also balance your three principal energies lung tiva pagan, and it's also mindful about that bodily energies should be balanced. It's also very important to balance your three doors of body. No to unwholesome habit. It's a we call this unwholesome means there's a 10 points are there. I'm not going to talk it because it's become very long. And if you have any questions, then make it elaborate at that particular time. Be mindfulness about your body. Be mindfulness about your mind. Be mindfulness about your energy. It's very important for that. So health is also wealth, and happiness is the highest form of health. So, Dr. So having conclude here in a very short way, I prefer to take more question answers if anyone
Sure.
have a question answer, so we can have a more elaborations there.
Thank you,
It's
Dr.
okay.
Dorjee. Thank
Uh,
you. Yeah,
uh,
if you can unshare your slides, I can
okay.
pose some questions
Hmm.
on behalf of the audience and
Yes.
people who are
Yes.
mostly healthcare workers, scientists around
Hmm.
watching you. And
Hmm.
we have a lot of
Hmm.
people on the Facebook, so
Oh.
they might have a lot of questions. First of all, congratulations for entering the Indian Ayush ministries. We used to have A for Ayurveda, Y for Yoga, U
Hmm.
for Unani, S for Siddha, and H for homeopathy. And
Yes.
now we have Tibetan medicine also. So
Yes.
congratulations that it is part
Thank
of
you, sir.
our Ministry of Ayush's program.
Hmm.
And this is a very good presentation. Not a lot of us did not know, but we used to hear about Tibetan medicine, and mostly about people going to Dharamshala to get anti-cancer drug. We used to hear a lot about, at least in the Chandigarh area and all
Hmm.
that.
Right.
So
Right.
a few questions which are just of general in nature. How many Tibetan medicine doctors are there in India?
Approximately, we have almost 300 doctors across in India, publicly and privately also. But in Menzika, we'll have almost like 300 doctors across India
Okay.
who are
And how many medical colleges where you are taught Tibetan medicine in India?
in India. Normally, we have 3 or 5 medical college there, and who can learn Swarikpa or Tibetan medicine.
Great.
Mm.
And what about Lhasa and the actual Tibet area? You know how many doctors must be there? And is it
Oh,
popular there, Tibetan medicine?
yes, yes, definitely. Tibetan medicine is very popular in Lhasa, not only in Lhasa, in Tibet, also it's also popular in China, and especially in this COVID, pandemic time, Tibetan medicine also serves a lot to cure the disease, in Lhasa. Now, Tibetan medicine is also practically, practiced across India, Himalayan regions, Nepal, Bhutan. and Mongolia also. It's very familiar around all this area also.
And how many of the people suffering from COVID you think you claim to have improved? Do you have any case reports? Because this program is on behalf of the Integrative Medicine Case Reports. It's a journal which inspires and encourages people running Ayush and the
Mhm.
other, non-modern medicine
Mhm.
systems to report their reports.
Right, right.
So, do you have any case report?
Yes, sir. We have almost like a 123. So far, we have a 123 patients who are suffer, I think, COVID-19. So we prescribe the medicine. There are more in mild symptom or asymptomatic patient. If it's more like emergency, we cannot handle here, so we directly send to the emergency care unit. So far, we have almost like a 123 patients who are taking Tibetan medicine, and we also have their reports of either here, like positive reports. Then after taking Tibetan medicine, they turn to the negative reports, and their other conditions. So almost like so far we have 123 patients are there who took the Tibetan medicine. They are covered fully.
And talking of, yeah, please go ahead. You want to say
And
something? Yeah.
okay, we also trying to prescribe the medicine for the preventive measure to immune booster. And most Korean people, they are taking Tibetan medicine for the preventive or immune booster. So that medicine also helps to prevent disease, or to prevent any infections, also to prevent any other symptoms like that. So that also helps a lot.
Are these basically herbs, plant?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes,
And
it's more like they are
where do
more
you
like
get it from and how do you process it? Where do you manufacture it?
manufacturing we are doing in Dharamshala itself. We get this across the Himalayan regions also. We also have our plantations across India in Chandara, near to Dharamsala, in Ladakh, in Bangalore. We also have some farming or plantations there to plant the herbs for the necessary also.
Talking of research, you mentioned that you also do some research.
Yes,
Are
sir.
there any research separate departments, or these are integrated into Indian institutes or Tibetan institutes? What kind of
Yes.
research is going on, very briefly, for our viewers?
Okay, so we also have one research department here in Menzikang, and we in earlier time we used to do the research on hypertension, diabetics also, and then H. pylori. Now we are also doing research on COVID-19, the benefit of COVID-19, how the medicines are also working on these people also. Basically, we also have a separate research department which also collaborating to the Indian associations also.
Excellent. So I will
Mm.
now go to the Facebook. We have lots of questions, and here's one which asks, what should be the dietary approach and exercises for cervical spondylitis in reference to Tibetan medicine?
Okay, so cervical spondylitis is more related to it's, if I go through for the three part, the dietary in a way is more like age also. It's depend on how the patient his energy. If a patient is very weak, he may or he or she may get a different dietary plantation also. If he or she is very fatty in nature, then they may also get different, dietary advices also. But I give you in a nutshell, in a general way, normally for cervical spondylitis, people are not allowed to take the green chili. The green chili mostly causing for the this one the pagan or cold energy, so that will cause also problem. Then they are not allowed to take potato in the nighttime because potato is mostly growing from underground. Underground have a more have a earth and water element which have a more sweet in nature, which have a more cooling effect is there, so they are not allowed to take that in the nighttime. And then they're not allowed to take the rice, especially the white rice in the nighttime. Okay, then don't take white maida. I think you must know about maida. Maida is also not good for these people. And never sleep bare floor. Sorry, never sleep on the floor. They are not allowed to sleep on the floor. They should use a little bit thick, mattress or something. Never go for barefoot on the floor. Okay, and then the best thing exercise is never sleep on the sideway. They are not allowed to sleep on the sideway. That's also causing lots of troubles there.
Great. Thank you for those answers. There's another question because
Mm.
you pointed out in one of your slides
Mhm.
that practicing love and kindness can help establish balance of pitta.
Mhm.
And can you explain a little bit more on how one of the viewer is asking from Facebook how these psychological changes they affect pitta, or how do they imbalance pitta?
Okay, 1 minute. I will see my slideshow. Okay, loving and kindness normally more related. Pitta is once you get the hatred, it's will increase pitta. Pitta is more related to the aggravation of heat. Okay, aggravation of heat. So once you get aggravation of heat, then you will get lots of increase in your blood pressure. Also, it may also causing you some stroking in the brain also. So loving and kindness is something like you have to exchange that. You can also practice that in a meditation way also. You can also practice that in a tonglen. Tonglen means in the giving and taking. Okay, so there's a two ways how you can use that loving and kindness. Tonglen means there's you basically tonglen giving and taking is depend on two things. One is for yourself and one is for other people also. For yourself, tonglen means you when you're inhaling tonglen, you have to focus more about exhaling and inhaling. Inhaling when you're inhaling for yourself, you have to inhale all the clean, the clean airs in the body. When you're exhaling, you are relieving all the toxic or negativity thoughts bring there. And then when the vacuums happen in the body, that you have to feel like more like a compassion and kindness also. For other people, when you're doing tonglen and exhaling and inhaling, you feel like that when you're inhaling, you feel like that you're taking the suffering and sorrows and pains of all the people in yourself. When you're exhaling, you feel like that you are giving all your happiness and joy and kindness and love to the other people. In this way, that we make a moderate, neutralize your mind, your anger, your hatred, which can help you to cooling your body. Okay, which will help you cooling your body. So that's we helping you to balance the energy. The pitta is more like heat, which is aggravation your heat in the body. So when you do like that, so that's why helping you to cool in your body, which can help you to balance your energy in the body. In this way, you can practice that 1 time, 2 time, 3 times. Slowly, slowly, your hatred and anger will automatically vanish. The some kind, some portion, some percentage. In this way, people can practice that loving and kindness. But loving and kindness is also one of the positive energies, not a negative energy. So never use that in a negative way. Some people also use that in a negative way. When you have a loving and kindness, you're using in a negative way to cheating the people, to bullying the people. So never try to do that. It's very important. Keep in mind these loving and kindness, generosity. These are like positive energy that we need in the body. So the never use them or misuse that these things also.
Thank you
So
for
only
clarifying that. Yeah, very, very important.
very, very important, especially in this time, this particular time.
True.
Most people use that in a negative way, so that will cause a bad impact, especially for the children also.
That's very, very important because
Mm,
this clarification is required, because
mm,
generosity and kindness and love has to be selfless. It cannot be an abusive fashion or exploitation. That is what you are saying. And secondly,
right.
you pointed out that by breathing in and breathing out, you can generate positive and you can counter the negative thoughts, and that may help
Mm,
balance
right,
imbalance pitta.
right.
But a lot of people from the yeah, you want to say something?
So especially if you have a hatred, you always feel like that everyone wants to be happy, you know. You don't want to suffering, and other people also don't want to suffering. You want a happiness, the other people also need happiness. So when you have the arising the hatred and anger in your mind, you always think like that way also. So that also somehow helps to calm your mind, which also subsides your pitta also.
Correct. It also has
Mm.
a connectedness. Others also
Yes,
respond in
yes,
a similar fashion. And,
definitely.
of course, there are studies when you do this, there are effects on your blood and your overall
Mm,
biochemical parameters,
definitely.
cortisol,
So
stress
that's
markers. Yeah,
that's the reason why we have Tibetan medicines like holistic system medicine, which also connect your mind and body. Your mind is not separate. Your body is also not separate. So though if you are practicing these good qualities or positive energies in the body as much as you are doing, that helps you to stay healthy. Once your mind is happy, your body is also healthy. Once your mind is suffer, your body get more problems also. So
correct.
body and mind is more like connected. They should be in a balance or state of harmonies. It's very important for that also.
And that is also the favorite program of His Holiness Dalai Lama,
Sure.
mind body medicine program in the US, University of Wisconsin,
Uh-huh.
and many other people. In fact, India's Ministry of Ayush as well as Ministry of Health are also propagating the idea of launching mind body medicine. I do not know if you're aware that the Ministry of Health and the Niti Aayog has propagated the idea of integrative health program, one nation, one health program, which includes all pathies, evidence-based pathies, and they're going to roll it out soon. And this mind-body medicine, I think, will be a very important and integral part of this new plan. And that's how you very nicely explained. If the mind-body connection is good and the positivity and compassion, which His Holiness always talks about, is there,
Mm.
there will be positive thoughts, less psychosomatic disorder, and
Yes.
probably when we started with the pitta question, it will be more in balance.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, sir.
but there are many Ayurveda practitioners who say that the tridosha, the kapha vata
Mm.
pitta of
Mm.
the person cannot change. Maybe it can get altered, but it will not allow you to completely change the psychometric traits. Do you believe
Mm.
that's just, does the
No,
Tibetan medicine believe in that, or what is
so
your?
when you're talking about Vata Pitta Kapha, we call the Lung Tiwa pagan. So you need to think in a two direction. It's very important to look in a two directions. So one is your nature that we cannot change that. Okay, Vata Pitta Kapha, or the combinations of two or combinations of three, that is your nature. That's already inborn, inbuilt in your cell or genetics. That's your nature. That nobody can change that. If you're a Pitta nature or Vata Pitta Kapha nature, if you're Lung and Tiva nature, that's already fixed there. We cannot change that. That's your nature. So don't confuse with your nature and disease.
Okay.
Okay. So another Vata Pitta Kapha is we call the three principal energy, which is imbalanced because of the improper lifestyle and diet, as I've explained that in the before. Then we get the aggravations of disease there that we can change through the diet, through the lifestyle, through the behavior, through the thought of your way of thinking, that we can change that. So people should not, misinformed or misunderstood these two things. Once your nature, we cannot change your nature. If you have pitta nature, that's your nature. But there is a disease according to the pitta or something that we can change through the diet, lifestyle, the way of thinking.
Thank you for making that distinction. I learned two
Mm.
things. One, to how to qualify compassion and love and not to abuse it. And
Mm.
number two, of the nature versus the disease. Tridosha.
Disease,
Excellent.
right?
I got a very good answer.
Mm.
Although I remain a little of a rebel in not believing things as they are, but to experiment that. And I have an inner hypothesis that I
Mhm.
would like to see if yoga can actually change even the natural constitution. I do not know. I
Mm.
tend to feel that if you do good yogic exercises and get into meditative pose, meditation position, or a meditating status, you can achieve to reach a goal where you can probably even change your kapha vata pitta. What do you think? You can, or
No,
it's given.
no,
It cannot change.
you cannot change. If it's your nature, you cannot change. But if it's disease, then yoga can also change that. I think you must have a vast knowledge about yoga. Yoga, according to Tibetan medicine, is a way of thinking. It's a way of thinking, Yoga is a way of thinking. So in the yoga, you may get the procedures are there, how to do them. There's a procedure, certain procedures, a way of thinking is also completely different there. But once it's a nature that nobody can change your nature. It's like a
Correct.
DNA that coded in your body.
Okay.
But you can change your disease.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm.
And then now again, we'll move down to the Facebook, and there's a question.
Mhm.
Should we fix specific timings of eating or eat only when we are hungry? And how can we know the type of digestive system by ourselves?
Okay, sir. So
That.
normally, according to Tibetan medicine, we have three different types of digestive system. If I give you Vata, Pitta, Kapha, according to Ayurvedic or according to Tibetan medicine, it's called the Lung Tiva Taken. So the Vata nature, this one, Vata nature, their digestion system is very flexible, very flexible. Okay, they can eat the food, then they can somehow, even if they are not eating, it's gonna be fine. And the pitta nature, they have very sensitive digestion system. Even if they eat a huge amount of food, they when easily hungry, then they again need to eat something. Even their body structure is also going to be thin, little bit thin. They will never getting fat. And then is pagan nature or kapha nature. Once the kapha nature coming, they are more like earth and water elements. So the body is very fatty in nature. Even they don't eat the food, they're gonna be fine. Some people, you know that some people have like that nature. Even you can take only breakfast, then whole day they don't need to take that food because they. So that is different. So that is different. Kapha nature have a less digestion system. Okay, so these kapha nature or pagan nature, they are not allowed to take too much food because their digestion is like a gas without fire. There's a stove without fire, so they cannot cook the food. So they have less digestion system. So those people should focus more about cooked food or the liquid food. If they are taking to take juice, don't make them sorry. If they are taking fruits, they make them juice and take them easily, like in the juice form, in the liquid form. Okay, and the pitta nature, they should never take any kind of food related to the oily food. Okay, especially in the daytime, they are not recommended to take any oily, spicy, cheese, no junk things like that. And they also have a little bit very good digestion system, so they can take the break the meals also. If you are taking 3 times, they can make this 5 times also, but in a little amount, in a little amount. And vata nature, we can say lung nature, then they can take coffee. They are not allowed or not recommendable taking the coffee in the night. Okay, coffee in the night. They can also have a more like a little bit cooked also. Mm. So according to that, you can frame out what kind of digestion system you have. Okay, even you have a gastric issue, especially the raw things. I think I have mentioned that in my previous slide. You are not allowed to take any raw things, especially in the evening time, like after 4 p.m, because the raw things have a more indigestion. They take lots of time to digest the food. In the evening time, the kapha nature is increasing. Kapha nature is so more like sweet nature, more your digestion is also going to be low. So according to that, they can take the food also.
We are in fact planning another workshop just for nutrition. I would
Mhm.
like to connect with you again, and we are in fact thinking of doing a live cooking program for Ayurveda diet, Tibetan medicine, maybe for others. Maybe it will be helpful to show people how to also cook and to at that time tell about different kapha based diets.
Yes, yes, it's very helpful for them also.
Yeah, it's another question. I read in one book by the one of the viewer asks. I read in one book by Lobsang Rampa that lamas travel to other places by method called astral traveling. Is it
Mhm.
true? And if yes, can you explain how is it done?
Oh, pardon, I can hear you properly.
I read in one of the book by Lobsang Rampa
Mhm.
that lamas travel to other places by the method called astral traveling.
Oh, astral traveling. I don't know. I don't have any idea about that.
Okay. So here's another question. We will now move to another question. Sir, I want to know something about telepathy,
Mhm.
psychic abilities. Although it's not directly related to this particular talk, would you like to, does Tibetan medicine or any Tibetan culture or spirituality offer any insights about psychic healing or telepathy?
Telepathy, so in Tibetan medicine or even the Buddhist, in Tibetan Buddhism, they have lots of things. They're talking about the mind and the psychic things also. In the Tibetan medicine also. But telepathy means you can also teleconsultation. If I'm not wrong, they can also go for a teleconsultation.
So that will be
That
more digitized using equipment. So telepathy is communicating without digital or equipments.
there, okay. Telepathy is
Telepathy is
more.
like, yeah, you are thinking and the other person knows what you're thinking.
Mhm.
Separated by distance. It's a
So,
little suspicious,
okay.
but I don't know what you're
They
thinking.
have there in Buddhism culture they may have in Buddhism religion also, but in Tibetan medicine we also have a certain things that we can know through the magic pulse. The magic pulse. One, if the patient is not here, if the patient is not there, there's someone related to that patient. If father is sick, Then we can also check through the sun's pulse. Then we can do
Oh,
like that.
is it there? Is it part of your
Yeah,
training?
it's part of clean training also there.
And do you also do it?
Yeah, it's very rare cases, but most of the time we're having like a direct contact with the patient. So where the interrogation, pulse diagnosis is that. But in certain things, if we need it, then we are doing that one also.
You have also done it. Can
Yes,
you
yes,
do it?
yes. I
Okay,
didn't know we also did that, but it's very rare case. In a very
great.
rare case.
And
Mm,
where do you think Tibetan medicine is moving forward now? What is the plan for future? Now that you are part of Ayush, Ministry of
mhm,
Ayush's focus, and
mhm,
Ministry of Ayush is now, and in fact, Niti Aayog is talking about integrative health. In fact, on October 2 evening, we have a very special program, a brainstorming session on behalf of the Niti Aayog, where all the directors of, including PGI director, NIMHANS director, some of the secretaries and Oxford, Harvard, and Indian investigators will be talking about a pathway, how to move the integrative health forward. Where do you
mhm.
think Tibetan medicine finds its place in 10 years from now in India or in Tibet or in the world?
I think Tibet medicine has a very big scopes in the future because this is more related to the scientific, it's a way of scientific. Tibetan medicine, not only the medicine, is also related for that. Tibetan medicine can somehow also helping the world a lot, especially in terms of any disease, and especially with the chronic disease also. Mm. So we are hoping that Tibetan medicine can definitely go for very far. It's with the scientists, with the scientific logics, with the scientific reasons, it's going to be very far. But the thing is that we need more research in the facilities. We should have that more scientific research facilities there. Now, so far we are lacked about that. Okay, we are not. We
But
cannot
this will
use.
become, yeah, but this, sorry to interrupt you, but this will
Mm,
become available now by the integrative health agenda
yes, yes,
of the
yes,
Indian
yes.
Planning Commission, Niti
Mm,
Aayog, because the idea is for them to bring allopathy, Ayurveda, and the alternative systems together within the
mm-hmm.
same roof of the institute, utilizing same infrastructure, imaging, and the biochemical analyzers, using
Right,
the same flow of patients and dividing them into different uh,
right.
pathies as the patients demand, more patient centric. When that happens, you will get the opportunity to participate,
To
collaborate,
participate.
and generate more evidence.
Yes, yes, sir.
So
So
I think
that
that
is
should
like
be.
that. We didn't get that opportunity to do that. If we get that opportunity, then definitely Tibetan medicine can go very far.
So, will you be willing to participate with such institutions which accommodate Tibetan medicine in all the Indian medical institution at the education level, at the research level, at the practice level? Will you like to be confined only to Dharamshala or some of your clinics, 300 doctors, or would you be open to being a part of the institutional structure where you can get access to research resources? The
Yes, definitely. We are always open for that. And
great,
so far, we have almost like 60 clinics across India, clinics and across India. Even also, our Menzikans also have a partner clinic for Manipal University also. So slowly, we are expanding that also.
excellent.
We also have here one research or what you say lab also to do the technical things also.
We look forward to your submission of a case report, one or two or three, to our journal, Integrative Medicine Case Reports. So
Hmm.
where we run it through standard peer review, and then we
Right.
request you to revise the paper or accept it based on the editorial comments. So that way we will be able to bring the Tibetan medicine to the fore of journals, to the public domain through print media, through research journals.
Yes, sir.
So with that, we would like to close the program. We really thank you for sparing time on behalf of Yoga Scholars PGMER and all the viewers around us. We really thank you for making this a very engaging and a very nice talk and conversation. We learned a lot. I myself learned two things which I just told you, and so many other things about Tibetan medicine. I think you're doing an excellent, a wonderful job, and my greetings to you and the entire Tibetan medicine community, that you continue to take your field in the pathway of research and translation and maybe even technology for diagnosis. Would you like to make concluding remarks? If you would like to say something to the viewers before we end.
So my for the viewers and to the audience, the thing is that
Am
always
I
be
audible? I
happy.
think there is a
Yeah.
connection problem. Would you like to
Yes.
say
Yes.
something?
Can you hear me? Okay, sir. So the health is happiness, as I mentioned in my slides. So always be happy and be mindful about these things: your food, your digestion system, your thought, your way of thinking. Okay, be kindness, be loving and kindness. So these are some of the things that I want to talk to them.
Thank you, Dr. Dorjee, for a very wonderful and a very positive message. And then finally, I'd like to just inform all the viewers that from tomorrow onwards, this is another new week, and we will be undertaking a diabetic yoga protocol. And these disease-specific yoga protocols are going to be taught in 5, 6 sessions, and they are based on the published literature from taken from one of the premier journals. So tomorrow, BMJ Open based your diabetes yoga protocol will be in session, 15 minutes every day in the morning, 7:30 to 7:45. On October 2, please watch out for a really big brainstorming session, bringing the global experts together with policymakers, scientists, patient support organizations to pave the way for Indian and a global integrative health framework. And October 5, we're going to be having even bigger program under the aegis of Indian Academy of Neurosciences, where we bring in Shri and Daji, Dr. Kamlesh Patel from the Heartfulness Foundation to come together and one by one take questions from the viewers, mainly neuroscientists, on questions of mind and body, and take this research into neuroscience to a new high. With that, I would like to once again thank Dr. Dorji and all the viewers for watching. We'll connect again. Thank you and
Thank
namaste.
you. Thank you.